this computer. Okay, great. So Alana, thank you so much for joining me again this evening so we can spend some time talking about time and giving back to the Roper community. We had such a delightful conversation that got posted in the Keeping in Touch alumni magazine, and I wanted to continue it. It is International Women's Month, as you can see, or Women's Day. We just celebrated that, but continuing that celebration throughout the month. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk to you a little bit more about your time that you give to the Roper community, maybe spend a little bit of time around the search committee. I know it's still hush hush on for who is being selected, but I just really want to hear what your experience is and find out what has inspired you through this whole experience as well. So if we can start off with one of the questions that is important to me with my time and giving back to the Roper community and identifying what motivates you to give back to the Roper community.
Oh, well, thank you for having me this evening. And I'm thrilled to talk about Roper and my continued work with the school. I would say what motivates me to give back to Roper is really just all of the gifts that were given to me as a Roper student.
Mm-hmm.
Being a Roper student from 8th grade until my senior year really significantly shaped my life. It
Mm-hmm.
shaped the trajectory of my path after leaving the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that a lot. I think about the what if, now that I'm so connected with being a trustee and really what it takes for parents who sacrifice to give their children a Roper education. I think at that time, I knew that my parents were making sacrifices for myself and my brother. But as an adult now, it really resonates with me. All of those sacrifices, the time that it took for them to drive us from Detroit to Birmingham, back and forth every single day. The time that they spent at our basketball games, at our track meets. And let's be honest, the financial sacrifices that they made in order to allow myself and my brother to have a Roper education, and also everything that the school, from the teachers to the staff to the administration to our head of school, Chuck Webster, everything that Roper provided me. I'm that kind of person that believes in that saying, and I'm about gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but really it's about giving back. If what is being given to you, you must give it back. So that's a long way of saying that's what motivates me to give back to Roper.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things that we talked about before was you shared a lot about why it was important for you to nurture and sustain certain things that Roper gave, particularly around, give every kid an opportunity to have their voice heard. I think that was really something that stood out to me in our last conversation. And I'm really curious to find out from you, what are some ways or recommendations, we can give other alum to do some of the same things and finding what's important to them to nurture and keep going in the Roper community? And I know that you've worked so much around the board and working with a lot of alumni, and even my work with working on the Leadership Council and the Bridge. What are some tips, some things that other people can walk away with and being able to do some of the things that you're doing and nurturing and sustaining what's good at the school?
Yes, that's a great question. I think sometimes as students, you go through your Roper education and then you're excited to go out into the world and you're excited to build whatever that thing is that you want to build, and you're excited to just sort of go off um and and I think that's all fantastic. That's what we want. You're citizens of the world, go out into the world and do amazing things. I think though at the same time, um at some point it's all about like coming home.
Mhm.
For me, um, being involved with Roper, really, it's about coming back home. It's a place that I considered my home. I think there are so many ways for alumni to connect. Um, if it's anything from you know, volunteering to speak to a class.
Oh, yeah.
Our lower school students are so curious about the world.
Mhm.
And, even now they've gotten so good at Zoom. It could look like zooming in and speaking to a class,
Yeah.
perhaps mentoring a upper school student as they're thinking about their college selection process and offering some advice and some opinions.
Mhm.
Um, it could look like volunteering to coach or judge a forensics tournament.
Mhm.
It could look like even participating in our annual fund. I understand not everyone has time to volunteer, but even just being able to give back and sharing your seeds and sowing your seeds into the school financially. That's a way to give back.
Yeah.
um, and I just invite alumni to just think big and creatively.
Mhm.
um, there may not be a specific path that has been set
Mhm.
for you as an alum to give back, but be creative, and think of something that you are passionate about, that you would love to give back to the community.
Yeah. Uh, Part of the highlight in keeping in touch was time, treasure, and talent, and that there are multiple ways that alumni can show up and participate and keep keep the good things at Roper alive, the things that we enjoyed, the things that our parents enjoyed, even friends of Roper enjoyed, and how we can nurture and help to sustain that, whether it's financially or with our time, with our talents, and other things that we might treasure. So, thank you for sharing that. I
You're
wanted to
welcome.
spend a little bit of time around your willingness to participate in the board, which is a huge undertaking. And I voted for you. I'm proud to say that.
Yay!
and,
Thank you.
and I think that that type of leadership role is really important. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that process, that experience. What does that feel like and look like for you? But also the experience that you've had in playing a very significant role in selection of the head of school, which is very important. That leader guides much of, if not all of what we do at the school, and guides the students and the faculty and the alum and parents, friends of Roper. So share with us a little bit about your experience and that leadership role, as well as the impact that that's had in the selection of the head of school.
Absolutely. I'll say, if you had told the 13, 14-year-old Alana that one day she would not only be a trustee, but she would be chairing the search committee for the next head of school, I'm not sure she would have believed you. She maybe would have, paused and said, "Really?" So I think about my role with the search committee as a tremendous honor.
Mhm.
As you said, the head of school. role is so critical to our community. This person really helps us fulfill our mission and our philosophy every single day.
Mhm.
This person wakes up in the morning, and that is the first thing they probably think about, and probably the last thing that they think about when they go to bed is about our school and how can they continue to make it a place
Mhm.
where everyone feels welcomed,
Mhm.
where we are nurturing gifted learners. And I really will say that during this process, we all who were on the search committee,
Mhm.
we took that role very seriously, and knowing that this decision will continue to shape our next 80 years
Yeah.
um, of our school. And we did not do it alone. We had an external agency that worked very closely with us
Mhm.
as we went through the process, which was extremely helpful because they were able to do a lot of the day-to-day work.
Mhm.
But as a search committee, there were 10 of us, and which had a student who is amazing. She's a junior.
Yeah.
We had a student on the committee. We had an alum on the committee. We had a former board chair on the committee. We had current faculty and staff on the search committee. And we all worked together as a team. The 10 of us. And I'm just really proud of our work, and I'm really proud that we stayed very true
Mhm.
to Roper School values. And we hosted listening sessions where community members were able to share with us, their vision for the next several years. We hosted all of the finalists came to campus. I will say we did a COVID safe
Wow.
visit where we did a hybrid of Zoom and in-person visits with all of the finalists who came to campus. And we created a space where all community members were able to connect with the final candidates. And I just think that again, it was a tremendous honor, and I'm excited for what's next for Roper.
That's awesome. Well, on behalf of the Leadership Alumni Council, the Bridge, thank you for your commitment and dedication to helping Roper, continue that legacy and to build the foundation for what it will look like in 80 years.
Oh,
That's
welcome.
pretty powerful thing. And we're excited to have you visit us over at the Bridge. So hopefully your schedule frees up a little bit next month and you can join us
Absolutely.
and help us to strategize some of our own commitment and time and talent and treasure. Um, I know you are super busy, but I wanted to find out just a few more things from you. It is International Women. Well, we just celebrated International Women's Day, but I celebrated the whole month. And I wanted to find out from you just your experience in being a woman in a leadership role at Roper. Also, as a leader in your community, aside from Roper and some of the work that you are very passionate about. I know this from our previous conversations and even work that we've done together when we were together at Roper in high school, and just being an advocate for young girls and the mentor work that you do, that you're currently doing. Do you mind sharing with us your experience, some of the things that just make your heart melt when you think about? Please, share with us, inspire us for international.
Well, when you say my heart melting, I will just what I had just mentioned about the student on the search committee. My heart melts when I think about her.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Fantastic.
yeah, she is phenomenal. And in many ways, I hope that she may have felt mentored by me during the process. Um, you know, just knowing that there are girls like her in our community who are stepping up to be leaders and using their voice. And that really melts my heart, knowing that um, at the school we are making space for our young girls and young women and women in period to thrive and to step up and succeed. um our board chair, he called me and said, Alana, I want you to chair this search committee. And I think I sort of, my eyes kind of widened, at that point, and I just thought, wow. And so I appreciate that my colleagues, recognize my talent and continue to push me out on the skinny branches
Okay.
to do things that I've never done before. And to, I think sometimes as we get older, we sort of get in a routine, and we just continue to do the things that feel comfortable,
Sure.
and the things that we're good at. And so having these new opportunities as a board member to stretch myself, to continue to speak up and to use my voice. And I think that reflecting and knowing that it's Women's History Month and we just celebrated International Women's Day, I couldn't be prouder to be a woman during this time, and I hope that there might be others who are inspired from what they're seeing. I know that I'm inspired by my colleagues. I know I'm inspired by when I see the students stepping up and leading. And so I just hope that we just have more of that in our community.
Absolutely. Well, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. It has been a pleasure to be able to walk through some of your experiences and accomplishments, and the time that you shared with us in the Roper community. And now everyone can hear it. They'll play this back. And this will also go, I believe, in the Roper Library archives as well. So we're part of history.
Yes.
We are officially a part of history. Alana, thank you so much. And to everyone listening out there, however you can get involved, however much you can give, please don't hesitate, because there are people who are impacted, not just the students, the parents. We've seen a lot of that with the work that we've done in the bridge for some of the BIPOC parents, and also for ourselves. I mean, just you sharing that you're still growing in this dynamic leadership role that is so impactful to the community, that you're still growing and learning, and Roper is playing a part in that. So thank you for sharing. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.